Hi, I'm Dr. Chaboyer. I understand that the two of you are going to be getting the COVID vaccine and you had some questions and concerns.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Chaboyer. My name is Latash. This is my wife, Delia. And we do have some concerns. What are the vaccines and how do they work?
So currently in Canada, we have two vaccines that we're using, the Pfizer-BioNTech and the Moderna. And these are both what they refer to as mRNA vaccines. These vaccines basically tell your body how to produce the spike protein of the COVID-19 virus, and they tell your body how to fight off the virus. And as soon as they deliver that message, they disappear. They're gone from your body. So those are the two vaccines we currently have.
So I've heard of these vaccines that you just mentioned. Will they stop me from getting the COVID?
They have been found to be very effective. They've been delivered to millions of people so far in the world, and we have a lot of information about how effective they are. And we are finding that with full vaccination with these two vaccines, there will be at more than 90% effectiveness in preventing developing a COVID infection. And more importantly, they're preventing serious illness, they're preventing hospitalizations, and they are preventing deaths from COVID very successfully.
Okay, but are the vaccines safe?
The good news is, Delia, these vaccines are very safe. They have been tested on millions of people throughout the world. And in all of the testing that has been done on the various vaccines that are available, there have been, on those test subjects, and there have been tens of thousands of people, there have been no hospitalizations for serious illness from COVID. There have been no deaths from COVID, and there have been no deaths from receiving the vaccine. In terms of the safety vetting of these vaccines, all vaccines have to go through a three-phase process. All of these vaccines have done that, and they've also been vetted by Health Canada and approved by Health Canada. I want to mention too that I've heard from some people that they are worried that if they have serious problems with their lungs like asthma, emphysema, if they're allergic to penicillin, if they've had allergic reactions before, that they cannot get the vaccine, and that is actually untrue. Okay. If you do have a history of allergies, we will get you to wait a little bit longer after you've received your vaccine. Rather than wait 15 minutes, we'll get you to wait at least 30 minutes. We will have medication and personnel on site in case there is an allergic reaction, and we will be able to help you with that if it happened. And it's very rare that it's happened. And again, these have been given to millions of people, so we have a lot of information about their safety.
Are there going to be side effects when we get the vaccine?
There are side effects with every vaccine, but as with other vaccines, these vaccines are found to cause relatively minor side effects. So you can expect to perhaps have a sore arm after injection, a headache. You may have a little bit of muscle soreness, and you may feel a little bit tired. And these are common side effects that we expect with every vaccine. These are two-shot vaccines, so you do need a second dose. And we are finding that there is a little bit more of a reaction after the second dose than after the first dose. So, it may be possible for you to have to take Tylenol or to ice your arm, especially after the second dose. And in terms of allergic reactions, which some people have concerns about, allergic reactions are possible with any vaccine. And we have the staff and we have the medication and equipment on hand in case a person did develop an allergic reaction.
When will I get the second shot?
Yeah. In terms of getting the second shot, BC this week has changed the interval from the first dose to the second dose. Now it is 16 weeks, 112 days from the time you get your first dose to the time you get your second dose. And the reason why Bonnie Henry and the public health team have decided that is to allow more people to get that all-important first dose,
Yeah.
because we are finding that that first dose is very, very effective. And we have the vaccine in short supply, relatively speaking, in BC and in Canada. We don't
Okay.
really have a surplus like they do in the United States.
Okay.
So we have to try to get as many people vaccinated as quickly as possible. The other thing that we're finding that's very interesting is by delaying the second dose, we're finding that it's actually helping the vaccine to work better, because their body has a chance to really respond to the first dose so that the second dose is more effective.
And after I get the vaccination, do I still have to wear a mask?
Yes, you will. The importance of physical distancing, wearing a mask, sanitizing the surfaces will have to continue until we achieve what we refer to as community immunity, herd immunity. Between 70 and 80% of people in the population will have to be vaccinated. And once that's achieved, we'll feel much safer in perhaps reducing some of these protocols for safety.
Like my sister got something called COVID arm. Like it was a hard.
Yeah, so with any vaccine, there can be a fairly robust response to the vaccine. So the vaccine itself doesn't really cause the soreness. It's your body's immune response to the vaccine. So that's why we get kind of sore muscles and sore arms. Sometimes you can get a little bit of swelling, and if that happens, you could safely take Tylenol, not an anti-inflammatory like Advil, but Tylenol, and you could ice your arm and it should get better.
This happened like 8 days after the vaccine.
Yeah, that means that again, there is a delayed effect sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
That's why we're delaying the second dose, because that reaction to the first dose goes on. And in fact, we don't really get the full protection of the first dose until 2 weeks later.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I have a question too. So I had a liver transplant 4 years ago. Is it safe for me to get the vaccine?
Yes. The only reason really why you shouldn't get the vaccine is if you had the first dose and you had a very serious allergic reaction, which is very unlikely. But if you did have a serious allergic reaction to the first dose, we will probably require your doctor or an allergy specialist to decide whether the second dose should go ahead. Secondly, if you're allergic to one of the ingredients in the vaccine, if you're allergic to that, then you can't have it. But that's very, very unlikely. But if you have an immune condition, it's all the more reason for you to get the vaccine. It's actually dangerous for you not to get the vaccine.
Why do you think some First Nations people are refusing to get the vaccine?
Yeah, that's a good question. There are many reasons for that. I'm First Nations myself. I'm Cree First Nations from northern Manitoba. Both myself and my family have experienced racism within the healthcare field and in other areas of public life. I'm sure other First Nations people have experienced the same thing. So there is a reason to be a little bit leery about anything coming out that's new or relatively new. But this is one time where I would have to say that public health and the health ministry is actually treating First Nations people as a preferred person, and we're actually almost getting VIP treatment in that we are being offered this vaccine in a way ahead of the general population rollout. So I think people sometimes have that history of racism that they've experienced, and that might make them a little bit reluctant. There is also a tremendous amount of misinformation. You know, what people refer to as fake news. There is a lot of fake news about these vaccines. And I'm hoping that if people have any questions, if we don't answer them here, that perhaps people could reach out to their healthcare provider, because there is an answer for their concerns. And I think the more people find out about these vaccines, the more willing they will be to take them.
Is it mandatory to get the vaccines?
No, it isn't mandatory. But if you want to protect yourself, your family, your elders, your community, it really is preferred that you do go ahead with getting the vaccine. It is also possible that in the future, if you wanted to travel, perhaps across the border, certain businesses, if you wanted to go to the fitness center, the gym, if you want to go to a theater, it is possible that you may have to prove that you have you've received the vaccine. So it isn't mandatory at this time, but it is definitely preferred that you do receive the vaccine.
How soon can we go on vacation? We like to travel, maybe go to Hawaii or something like that. Would we be able to travel after we get the vaccine?
Well, in order for our public life to return to normal, it will be necessary for us to achieve what we refer to as community immunity. It's also known as herd immunity, where if we have a certain percentage of the population that has been vaccinated, it becomes much less likely for there to be a further outbreak. We're looking at needing to have roughly 70 to 80% of people having received the vaccine before we can kind of go back to normal a little bit. So I can't answer exactly when that'll be, but our plan in BC is for the majority of the population to be offered the vaccine before the end of September. So I'm not sure that you'll be able to travel that time safely, but I think that that would be a possibility.
Thank you, Doctor, for answering our questions. And we want to stay safe. We're being very concerned, and it's very difficult to be isolated and not be with our family. We have a very large family here in the community, and we don't get to see them. So from what you said, I feel safe now in taking the vaccine, and I feel that we'll be helping to keep our family and community safe as well. Thank you, Doctor.
Oh, you're welcome. I would also close by saying that, I think that's an excellent decision. I think that I'm hoping that you could also reach out to people that you may know that are hesitant to take this vaccine, whether it's people in your family or people in your community, because even if they won't take it for themselves, I'm hoping they'll receive the vaccine to benefit their family, their elders, their knowledge keepers, and their community. Because by having more of us receive the vaccine, the whole community is protected.
Nice to meet you, Valerie.
I shake your hand, but we're not allowed to touch. How have you guys been? Are you feeling healthy?
Yeah, feeling good.
So take a deep breath. Done. So take a deep breath. There. Very good. You did it. Well, congratulations. You got your first shot.